Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I am here to do a review on a new show. It is called Family or Fiance. Now, when I saw the preview, I was like, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna want to do a review on this. So yeah, it's interesting. So it's a setup with a couple that goes to this house, kind of like what Iyanla does on her show, and they stay for 3 days and have many counseling sessions with Terry McMillan. And also in the house will be like, I'm guessing the formula is gonna always include 3 people on one person's side and 3 people on the other person's side, whether they agree with what the union is supposed to be or not. And they're going to address whatever issues they have. And at the end of the 3-day experience, they will decide whether or not they want to go forward in getting married or not. Okay, so with this episode, it started out with this couple named Ashaki and Chris. I hope I said her name right. But so with their story, they met at work. She was a hostess and he was a cook, and they end up all going out somewhere one day, and they went to the club, and eventually they became official, and they have been together for a year and 7 months. So Terry McMillan, who is a relationship expert, they met her at the house. So anyway, on his side, the other people who are going to stay in the house on his side is his mother, one of his male cousins, and his sister. And on her side is her mother, her aunt, and her best friend, which is a guy. I think he's gay or non-gender conforming or whatever, but he is, you can tell he doesn't like, from what I can tell, he doesn't like women. Just to put that out there, that's not going to be a reason why the situation may or may not work. Anyway, everyone except his mother is hesitant about them getting married. She, as of right now, doesn't care either one way or the other. The only concern that she had is the fact that they were together and he didn't find out until, recently. She didn't find out until recently. So it kind of comes off as if he was kind of hiding her. But yeah. Also, just to put that out there, he has 3 kids already. He is in his late 20s. She's in her early 20s. His kids are ages 11, 9, and 4. So, their engagement is at stake. And, if the families don't support it and, whatever, it's not going to work. So the guy, Chris, he's going into this thinking that everything is going to go according to plan. There's nothing that's going to be able to be brought up or said to them that's going to mess up what they're trying to build. And if her mother doesn't give him the okay to marry her, then he won't go through with it. That's what he said. So everyone arrives at the house and all that good stuff. But before they arrive, Terry McMillan has a little sit down with the two of them and told Ashaki that she needs to, basically what she does every time she sits down with them is she does a little exercise. And she said what her exercise is going to be is that she has to prove to them that she can be a great step parent to his kids. And what he's going to have to do as his task is he's going to have to kind of do like 21 questions, and whatever they throw at him, he's going to have to be able to handle it and show that, he really is all in. So what they did is kind of like what happens in a regular family. Well, I know we've done it a few times when I was a child, but they had a family meeting and everybody gathered around and everybody kind of gave an outline or gave a few reasons as to why they are here or not here for their relationship. So her best friend said that he does not agree with their union going any further because he feels as though she has slacked off in her career and basically just overall in life. Just everything that she had goals. She just was like, everything's on the back burner because I'm with him and that's it. His sister is concerned because she doesn't think that, not necessarily that she won't be a great stepmother, but if things don't go right with them and she's been around the kids, that it's going to mess up, how the kids are, and kids are so impressionable. She doesn't want that for them. So I fully understand what she's saying, and I agree with that. Like I said earlier, his mother, as of right now, she ain't got no problem with it. And she just was like, she didn't understand why it came off like he was kind of hiding her. So, nothing has been seen at this point that would give her the impression that they shouldn't be together. His cousin, Chris's cousin, is not here for their relationship as far as them getting married, because he said that he is still out there doing what he do, which is having women and cheating. And so the look on Ashaki's face was like, what you mean? I was like, oh gosh, this is too much. Like the cousin is not here for nothing. Like, I was just like, oh, well, all right. Like, he literally is sitting up here like he is currently cheating, like, right now. Chris is, throughout this whole process, the cousin is consistent with saying that, I don't know what you talking about. You're cheating. And I'm like, oh gosh. So the ladies, meaning his mother, her mother, and his sister, they wrote out different scenarios for Ashaki to answer to see if she would be able to handle them accordingly when it came to the kids in some way and their relationship as a whole. So one of the scenarios was if she was pregnant and she was going to school, if she had it was something like, and her answers were terrible, y'all. Like, I just can't. One of them was if she's in school, because she's trying to go to school, and one of his kids needed to be picked up from school, and she had a final that was like 90% of her grade, what would she do? Because if she left, she would fail or something like that. She was like, oh, I would just take my test and then I'll go get them after that. She didn't even think about, like, maybe I'll call my mama to see if she could go pick them up. Nothing. Like, and the father is out of the question. The mother's out of the question. She's the only one who could pick the child up. Probably, none of the other stuff, none of the factors like, oh, she's the only other person on the paperwork. Any of that. None of that was in there in the scenario, but she literally did not come up with, oh, well, I'm gonna call my mama and see if she can go pick the child up, or none of that. She was just like, oh, I'm gonna take my test, school basically come first and then I'll go pick him up. Y'all, it ain't even that serious. I was like, girl, that's not how this go. Then, like, I forgot what the other one was. She didn't really answer that all that great, but the main one that kind of let me know, like, yeah, you ain't ready. Like, you are not ready. You have not thought about this at all. His mama asked her, what would you do if y'all were together and, y'all gonna be married and the mother asked for more child support because your income has been added because, y'all married, so you're gonna have to come up off a whole lot of money. So how would you handle that? She was not here for that at all. She was like, I'm not trying to give up my money. I'm like, girl, you don't know what you're doing. Y'all, so anyway, they ended up having dinner. And that's when 21 questions type of situation popped up. And I was like, Lord. So the first question they asked her, I was like, that was weird. You're supposed to ask him. But anyway, they asked her if they think that he's being faithful. Oh, Lord, y'all already know. So then they asked, it was crazy how the questions were coming. They asked her if they felt like he was done being a bachelor, and then they were saying, like, she really was like on the verge of tears. I'm just like, Lord, like, but you over here, like, she really lives for him. And he, kind of trying to act like he lived for her, but I ain't here for him. I can't do it. So they ended up saying that, Like they were trying to ask him questions, and he would sit up there. He sat up there and was like, and just got up. And she was like, where are you going? He was like, I gotta go. He was like, and then when he came back to the table, he was like, I had to get a drink. He went and got like a Coca-Cola. And she was like, what? Like, you could tell he's deflected and like he just doing the most. Y'all, I was tired. Like, he just, everything about him, even when he first came on the screen, I was not here for it. It was just something about him. I didn't know what it was. And I was just like, no. So a situation came up where they asked about the eyelashes. Apparently a situation happened where she came over. The whole scenario is this, because it kept unfolding as the episode kept going on. Apparently they lived separate, or they were at that time. And she came over unannounced at like 6 a.m. He answered the door, wouldn't let her come in. And then he left the house, and then he went to Waffle House to get him something to eat. Then he came back and then came inside. She set it off because she found some eyelashes, and she didn't talk to him the next day. And then that Sunday came, the day after, a whole day that she didn't talk to him. He was mad because she didn't talk to him. And so he was in his feelings. And I'm just like... So apparently he's saying that the eyelashes are his sister's eyelashes, and when she gets drunk, she will like throw them. And he said he didn't know what was going on at first. He actually thought it was a bug, but he didn't think nothing of it. But what happened with y'all, I can't believe nothing he said. He tried to say that he was hanging out with his sister. First of all, the eyelashes were at his house, but how they got to his house was his story is his sister was drunk. When she gets drunk, she takes her eyelashes off and throws them. She threw them at him, and they stuck to his shirt, and he didn't realize it until after he got home. He thought it was a bug or whatever that had fallen on the ground, and that was on his shirt and all this other. Y'all, it was just so stupid to the point of where, like, her mama and aunt were like, I didn't know what kind of glue this is that could just stick like that, or what kind of adhesive, or what kind of lashes these are. Like, everybody was just tired. Yeah, even his mama got tired. I was like, yeah, because you know how some people, no matter how wrong their son is, they are ride or die. And I'm like, you know your son is trash. Sometimes your child is just trash. I mean, I'm just saying. So with that whole situation where she popped up, you know, it eventually invoked a reaction to the point of where they started arguing. And she was like, she didn't understand why he wouldn't open the door. He literally would not let her inside and all that. So that would lead anybody to believe like, oh, you got somebody in the house. And if she didn't believe that before, when she did, you know, come inside after he came back from eating breakfast and saw the eyelashes, her first instinct was, all right, you cheating. Now, he has already made it plain that he used to be the one back in the day, to the point of where he would get all the ladies. He knew how to juggle them just right. None of them knew about one another. He was amazing with it, y'all. And I'm just like, just stop. Y'all, it got so deep to the point of where he was like, y'all do know I'm smart enough that back in the day, all the stuff that I used to do, I know how to juggle them and all. Like he was making his case worse by saying anything. It was just to the point where he should have just not said nothing. Like, that's how bad it was. It would have been less of a problem had he just not spoken. Like, I was just like, what do you see in him? Y'all, I was so... Y'all, I was just so tired. Like, it was to the point where he was like, well, I mean, y'all make it seem like I need to just go ahead and cheat since y'all think it just gonna make her feel better. Everybody was just like, nobody is saying that. And like, by this time, his mama is all the way done. She was just like, look, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, she was just like, no, a lot of stuff ain't adding up. So then Terry McMillan ends up meeting up with them, and she was like, I did have an activity where y'all were gonna go out together, but since I heard some things went down in the house, I don't know if y'all gonna still do that. It might still be on the table, but they were talking, trying to discuss what happened or whatever a little bit with her. So eventually it got to the point where she was like, okay, so this is what y'all gonna do today. Y'all, everybody in the house could choose to either go bowling or stay at the house and talk and get massages. So everybody but him, Chris, his cousin, and his sister, and the best friend went bowling. So apparently the mothers, the aunt, Ashaki, stayed at home and got massages and we're talking. Y'all, he was at the place bowling and he was just making light of her feelings and the situation that happened. He was like, people just bringing up stuff that's old, whatever. Y'all, it was so bad that it got to the point where him and the cousin at one point, they were talking and he was like, I called you one day. And, he was like, I feel like you're still cheating because I called you one day and it didn't sound right in the background. I asked you who was there and you said, don't worry about all that. And keep in mind, they've been together like a year and a half. And he said it happened within the year and a half that they supposedly have been together. And like his mother, nobody really knew about her like that. So it's like, and apparently, even though they're cousins, they were playing gang bang, pass around, let's go back and forth with these women type of sexual moments. And I'm like, why do people do that? I don't understand, especially people who are related. Y'all are having sex with the same women and passing them back and forth. Oh, both of them very much so disgusted me at that point. I'm like, do what you do, but nah. But yeah, he was like, I know you ain't done doing what you doing. I know you've been cheating. Y'all, I was just like, Lord, this is too much. And then back at the house, everybody is talking and discussing how, everything sounded within the conversation, and she is still, upset. And I'm just like, this is just apparent that you don't need to be with him and that you don't really know him and he's trash, and everything in you is telling you that he is cheating, and she knows about his past, but y'all, I can't. Anyway, they ended up coming back from bowling, right? And it's like, everything that she knows to be the case went out of the window when he walked in the door. He rolled up on her, said a few sweet nothings in her ear, and it was a wrap. And her mama was like in the confessional, like, I don't know what it is. It's like she's brainwashed all of a sudden. It's like snap and everything disappeared. I was just like, yeah, girl, I hope she gets some sense. So anyway, I was just so tired because he was just sitting up there feeding her lies. And her mama really was sitting up there like, I wonder if he's hypnotizing her or something all of a sudden. Like, this is crazy. Y'all, so by now we're on the last day. And I'm like, oh, because I thought it was going to stretch it out somehow to have 3 days to be like 3 episodes. So now we're on day 3. And Terry McMillan is talking to them. And this is the day where he has to ask her mother's blessing to marry her. And y'all, they got to go out there and see if it's going to work out. And so they went one by one to talk to everybody to see what they thought. And only his cousin gave the blessing. I think the cousin and was it the sister? The cousin and his mama are the only ones who gave their blessings for them to get married, y'all. It was so crazy. And so even Ashaki was like, wow, the main person who started all this drama is the one giving us the blessing to get married. Like, what? Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was so tired. He sat up there and was in the middle of making a speech and was like, I know I said in the beginning that if I don't get her mom's blessing that I won't go through with this, but I can speak on behalf of both of us. Man, Ashaki sat up there, interrupted him, and was like, I need to say something. And I was like, oh, gosh. And, he really was like, I'm speaking on behalf of both of us, whatever. And she said that she is not over him cheating on her. And she said that she ain't here for him. She ain't here for it. She don't think that they are ready to get married. And the engagement is off. When I tell you, I was like, hallelujah. I'm glad you finally got some sense, girl. Like, he was kind of, he was so shocked that he couldn't really respond the way I thought he was going to respond. But yeah, y'all, tell me why, when they left the show and went home, he decided to come clean about, I guess, whatever he might have actually been doing. Because I actually think it's more than that. He told her that he had cheated on her with one person. And they are no longer together, as I already knew it would be. Y'all, I can't. It's too much. But anyway, hopefully y'all will go ahead and check that show out. That show do the most. But anyway, that was the review on that. That was the first episode. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you liked it, let me know. If you did, let me know. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's fine as well. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a wonderful weekend. Happy Sunday, and I'll see y'all on the next video.